Hey guys, what's up? It's Catrice and welcome back to another edition of the Confidence Brew. Now I was super excited because I just finished up my last class session. Actually, let's rewind. Just in case you don't know me, I am a teacher in real life and I teach college level students who are about to walk off into the world as life professionals. That's my job. So I was excited because for the first time in a very long time, I had 100% pass rate for the class session. Now, what that means is every person who started class with me and decided they were gonna see the mission the whole way through, pass the class, which is an absolutely incredible feat. I don't know if you know this, but there's usually always the one. You know what I mean? There's always the one. And as I'm going through class sessions, I try to make mention of the fact that in my experience in this level of teaching and life, I understand that there is always the one. And so I just try to prepare people for that. Let's take a look without being like grim or sad or sorry about it, but let's take a look at some of the potential obstacles that could drop in our way. That way, if we prepared for them and looked at them, we can most doubtedly recognize them when they show up and push through them anyway. That's the idea. I always start with this caution because there is this thing that's always looming in the background aside from the obvious obstacles that are going to pop up in the way, but there's this thing that's looming in the background that always gets in the way or sabotages this one person's experience. And I found that overwhelmingly, it's the fear of failure. We all have that obnoxious thought that passes through our brain that says, what if, just what if I give this absolutely everything I have? What if I lay my soul on the line? What if I am dedicated, determined? I have just put everything, my blood, my sweat, my tears, firstborn child, I've put all of those things into the pot. And what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if the thing that I set out to do, I can't get done? And it's a weird double-edged sword because on the one hand, we're so excited. We're so ready. Like, this is it. This is the change I wanted. This is the thing I needed. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. This is it. But on the other end, looming out in the distance is the fear. The fear of failing can actually prevent us from giving it 100% effort. And the fear of failing can actually prevent us from even starting. And I think this happens to the best of us. If you're ever in the midst of chasing down a goal, or maybe you've tried this in the past, you were trying to chase down a goal and you just can't seem to wrap yourself around why you can't get the goal done, why you can't achieve it. You keep coming back to it and saying that you're going to do it, but you always just life always just keeps happening. Obstacles always just keep happening and something is just always in the way. And if that's ever happened to you before, or you are trying to prepare yourself for when it does happen, I am about to give you the validation that you need. And the kick in the pants that you probably also need as well. The validation is that it's absolutely normal for us to, one, be fearful. The fear of failing comes from the desire to protect ourselves. Somewhere in our brain, we have a defense mechanism already built in. And part of that defense mechanism is to protect us from feeling bad about ourselves or our choices. And so we may not give it 100% effort, because if we don't give it 100% effort, what inevitably happens is we have a reason as to why we weren't successful. Or if we don't even start, like, oh, I haven't even tried that yet, so it's okay that I wouldn't have had success there. We are giving ourselves a reason, and thereby giving ourselves permission to not continue to chase these goals that we have. But we're also crippling ourselves a little bit. We're crippling our ability to be resilient and to push through, because we are so keyed in on protecting our feelings. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing bad about protecting our feelings, but the idea of being devastated is a lot to handle. If you have tried and given your 100% effort to something and you are still unsuccessful, that brings about a feeling of devastation. And it's not necessarily the fear of failing that we are running from, it's the fear of being a failure that we are running from. But here's the good thing and the kick in the pants. In my experience, there's always just the one who's not going to make it because they're tired. The one who's not going to make it because they slept through their alarm. The one who's not going to make it because they're overwhelmed. The one who's not going to make it because they can't find childcare. The one who's not going to make it because they're too busy. The one who's not going to make it because they won't ask questions. The one who's not going to make it because they got lost on the journey. There's always just the one. Now, if I had to describe myself, I would describe myself as a champion, a cheerleader, an advocate, a mentor, a coach, a teacher for those who are in process of chasing their goals. I love just being on the side and watching someone who is or who has created a version of themselves in their head that is better than what they currently have. Maybe they saw a better path. Maybe they saw better opportunities. Maybe they saw a better way. They saw a better life. And to watch them change simply because they said so, simply because they wanted to. It's absolutely a magical experience every single time. So if you can imagine my passion, and when I jump on the train, I'm like, yes, I am in this. I am ready to watch you succeed. You can do this. And as the other person, they have gathered up their support team. They've gathered up the troops. They've told everybody what they're going to do. And so one could imagine the confusion when the train stops. Like, I thought you said you were going to do this. I thought you said you wanted this. I thought you said you needed this. I thought you said this was important to you. I thought you said this was going to change your life. I thought that's what you said. So why is the train stopping? I think it's kind of similar, like if you have a favorite sports team or an athlete, maybe, and if you were to obtain tickets to their event or game, and You get there and you're super excited because you got like the platinum package where you get a tour behind the scenes before the event goes on. You're gonna sit like right up front, whether or not be courtside, field side, like whatever it is, you're gonna be like right in the action. You're able to attend the press conference afterwards, and you have access to like the after party and the meet and greet and all the things, and you're super excited, and you're gonna be cheering this person on or people on, your team on, whatever, at this event. And maybe it's a championship event. It's like the event, and you get there and everything's wonderful and the stands are packed and people are cheering, and then there's a boom of the announcer over the speaker, and everyone's on pins and needles because it's about to start. We know it's about to start right now. And then the announcer says, I regret to inform you that our athlete or our team today, they're just feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the pressure of the event today, so they're not going to be here. Or our team couldn't find, our athlete couldn't find proper childcare, or some members of our team overslept their alarm. Like, if you paid for this and were super hyped up and really excited to go, and it was a championship meet, you would just be like, a championship event. Like, can you just not show up? Can you, like, is that a thing? Sounds like a poor choice. And that's exactly what happens when people make poor choices when it comes to their goals. They've told everyone and they're super excited, and halfway through they decide to stop. They have this reason, they have a really good reason, and they tell it to you. They have to tell it to you so that you would see that their reason makes complete sense, and so that you would side with them and everything would be okay. And in that okayness, you lose that support system because there's nothing else to cheer you on about. You've stopped. We believed in you, and you crapped on our belief in you. And the goal, well, you think the goal just evaporates, but we know that's not what happens to the goal. We know that the goal nags at you. We know that you were never going to forget the time that you gave up on yourself. So many conversations with so many older, wiser people have given me the understanding that the number one regret of life is not trying the things that people want to try, doing the things that people want to do because of a reason or an obstacle that they thought was in the way. But here's the good news, or more good news, and that is people are out here on a regular basis doing exactly what it is they said they wanted to do. I actually don't think that we give people enough credit. I think that we have made it seem like it's some exclusive group that is successful, but from my experience teaching and just coaching and watching people are making it. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes obstacles fall in the path, and actually more often than not, obstacles fall in the path, and maybe people have to slow down, or they have to backtrack, or they have to detour, like whatever it is. Sometimes those obstacles happen, but even despite those obstacles, people are still out here making it. So if you're curious, the odds are absolutely in your favor. And if given the opportunity, if you're in a room of 50 people who all signed up to chase down a goal, don't be the one to not make it. If you're in a room of 25 people, don't be the one to not make it. If you're in a room of 10 people, don't be the one to not make it. If you're in a room of 2, well, it looks like you have one of 2 choices. And your future self is counting on you to not be the one. And on that note, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe, especially if you keep coming back often and you know it and you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if you are new, please consider subscribing. This is the perfect place for dreamers like you and me. And if you hit the bell notification, it'll let you know the next time I'm here. This is the perfect place to escape to one, remind ourselves that we're worthy, and two, the perfect place to remind ourselves and hold ourselves accountable to chasing and catching our dreams. All right, I'll see you in the next one.